podcast. I'm working on a special little project here today. I'm trying to build a uh, crusade list of with my own models, trying to get an idea of what I can do to um, make a better situation. I always kind of struggle with the Astra Militarum, mostly because there's so many choices, there's so many different directions to go, and of course, at 1,000 points, you're kind of compressed into what you can fit in that little area. So what I really want to do is see if I can get. I'm going to work my process out while I chat with you guys, and if anybody has some um, input, look, I'm willing to take some help here. I am limited to the models that I own and are painted currently. As the crusade progresses, though, I am going to be able to add other units into that. So if there's anything while I'm working through my process that you want to input, any units that you think work really well or don't work, or I should get rid of or add on to or whatever, please, mention it. Let me get a quick drink here because I probably should have done that ahead of time. Sorry. So just trying to get a good list going together for Crusade. So using just the models that I have, probably could have put a list up of the models that I have. What most of my guard army is from 7th edition. I'm trying to revamp it and bring it back up to date. If you've been following my channel at all, you will know that I play Thousand Suns and I play Dark Angels and I play Eldar, and so I've kind of been dealing with my other armies, and I haven't really touched the Astra Militarum for a while. So I know the basics. You got to have some guardsmen, and obviously, like, since all my models are a little bit on the older side, we are working with probably essentially Cadian guardsmen. That's what I was going to use them as, but I guess realistically, since all I have is they're all similar, I could probably stand them in for whatever. Though I do know that the Cadian guardsmen are probably the best choice for a basic guardsman, and I do believe that the points aren't really much different. But I would have to just double check that to be sure. And obviously, like I said, I think that's what the models are. That's kind of what I'm going to stay in the range of. So I do have 3 solid squads of Cadian guardsmen. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3, 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Let me check on my notes here. So I do have 3 squads of Cadians as they are right now. I have one with 2 flamers, one with 2 grenade launchers. I have one that I can throw in a different special weapon, or I can probably have just enough to run them all las guns. But I think I'm going to start that with that as the base. If anybody has an idea as to maybe 10 mans as opposed to 20 mans, but I'm thinking at 1,000 points, we're probably looking at like 10-man squads. And I think that would probably work for the best. Let me see if I can get this up here real quick. Oh, hold on. So just so I can throw some points on the field here. I can get my computer to work for me. All right, there we go. All right, so let's open up my army builder tool just so I have an idea what's going on. So what do we got? New update. So let's create a list. Astra Militarum. We're just going to call this the PDF for good measure. Planetary Defense Force. All right, so battle size is going to be incursion for the time being. And we'll work on a detachment later. Close out all this other stuff. I am using new recruit if anybody's interested in that. Just because I like the format that they work in and how they print out. All right. So obviously with Crusades, you want to stay away from epic heroes because they don't level up at all. They don't go up. And actually, I don't really, all my Guardsmen epic heroes are old. I don't know. I don't think I have anybody. I don't have God's Ghost. I don't have Dreer. I don't have Leonidas. I don't even have Nork Dead Dog. So I have nobody that's an epic hero anyways as far as a standing model, but we can add to them later. The Acadian shock troops, of course, we are looking at their basic ability is the shock troops. So we were talking about at the end of your command phase, if this unit is within range of an objective marker, you control that marker, or that marker remains under your control, even if you have no models within range of it, until your opponent controls it at the start of the next start or end of any turn. So they get sticky objectives. So I think that's probably the best way. The unit can have 2 leaders attached to it. That's kind of something to play with too. So I'm going to just automatically, I have 3 squads of guardsmen. I'm just going to add my 3 in here at 65 points each. It's still under 200 points. That gives me 3 separate squads that can do some work. So after that, as far as vehicles go, I know the Leman Russes are expensive, but I think I want to include at least 1 Leman Russ. And being that I'm going to be fighting Chaos Space Marines, and I'm going to be fighting against either Necrons or Tau for sure. Yeah, with one or the other for sure. So I think I'm just going to work with a standard battle tank. I think that's probably the best idea. That gives me some pretty high strength in case they bring some tanks. Strength 10 on that battle cannon, strength 12 on the las cannon in the shell, or in the nose of the gun. And then, of course, we can always add some sponsons on there. Maybe I'll just go with some heavy bolter sponsons for a nice round out for that tank. This way it can do a little bit of anything. And, of course, we'll put the storm bolter on the top. And these guys get... Yeah, there it is. And a 100 killer missile just for that extra swoop. Okay, so the problem with that is that's already 565 points in my army. I haven't even put a leader in yet. So I have 3 squads and a tank. This is where I always have the problem with what I got. Now, if I added some, like obviously I don't want to throw another Leman Russ tank in there because it's another almost 200 points. But I could add a Chimera, but that's 85 points. So again, we're at 565. The other question is, so I'm probably going to go with a Castellan, right, for a character, for a warlord. So if I do a Castellan, and he'd go with my Cadian squad, right? And we'll give him, let's see, chainsword for them is only 5 attack strength 3. Power weapon 3 attack strength 4 -2. That's much better. I do have a power fist guy, and I think that's going to be the winner. Let's throw the power fist guy in there. And my guy with the power fist, here's my guy with the power fist. Let me see here. You see the guy that dropped out on me. My guy with the power fist, I think he has, where'd he go? He's gone. Oh, he's got a las pistol. Okay. So we can do a las pistol. Let's face it, as a commander, he's not going to shoot a ton. So we're going to do a las pistol. He gives, and let's just mark him with the warlord. All right. So, and I should have enough. Let me just double check here. Yeah, these squads go this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So that's 8. And then I should have enough for command squad. So let's add a Acadian command squad in there for good measure. And have one big troop. Boom. So there we got a Acadian command squad. Alright, so that gives me some infantry to play around with. I think more than enough. So I've got a Castellan with a command squad, and we'll put that with a 10-man squad. And then a second Castellan with another 10-man squad, and then we can have a loose 10-man squad. So that puts us up to about 740. Of course, the guardsmen. So if we're going to do guardsmen, let's give on the command squad. We have one with a chainsword, one with a vox, one with a med pack, one with a standard. Wait, 1, 2, 3. That's it? Oh. So they don't get any. They get one guy with a special weapon or the standard. Wow, that's okay. All right. So I didn't realize that. And so what this commander, the Acadian commander, will put power weapon with him. All right. And we'll give them the standard because the standard gives them 1 to objective control. Yeah. So that's perfect. That's my big plant squad. It's pretty expensive. 55, 65, 65. So 130, 190 points for one big squad. That'll be all right. So we're going to, what do we add in after that? Wait, did I put in, oh, no wonder it's so expensive. I put in 2 Lehman Russ battle tanks. Okay, so that's a lot better. I'm a lot better. So I added 2 Lehman Russes in by accident. No wonder it seemed like a lot. Okay, so still, I'm right here at 3 Acadian shock troop squads and a Lehman Russ, 2 commanders with a command squad. I think that's going to be enough troops. Just out of curiosity, I have 2 commissar models. Commissars are only 30 points. So I could throw a commissar in there. I could do a Lehman Russ commander. I don't know that I necessarily need it to start off with. A psyker, a priest, or Commissar's dirt cheap, man. What the heck? Alright, what does the Commissar do? Toughness 3, 5 save. Summary execution. On other officers in the model, you can reroll battle shock tests for that unit. Oh, so they work really well with another commander. Okay. So, and they do have the invulnerable save. So, not so much. Not so bad. Not so bad. And of course, they have that wonderful summary execution. Yeah, I kind of see why they're only 30 points at this point. All right. So, we still have 550 points. What do we do? 3 sets of guardmen, 1 tank, some commanders to throw around. What other vehicles do we have? So I own an armored sentinel. I think that might not be a bad choice. It's just a little... What's the ability on an armored sentinel, you say? Each time the model in this unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle, you can reroll the wound rolls. Okay, so that's not terrible. That's not terrible at all. We could kind of work with that. Toughness 8, 2 up save, 7 wounds, 8-inch move, and all that for the low price of 65 points. I think that'll work. Let's work with that. We'll roll that in there. And that gives us 620 points currently. What else can we add? So do we want to do other stuff to wreck big things? We do a manticore, wyvern. What about a wyvern? So wyvern is still squadron. So if I use the combined armor detachment, it'll get a bonus for shooting vehicles. But with a 5 strength, you're really going to be shooting infantry with that. Strength 5, 0 AP, blast, indirect fire, twin linked. 2d6 shots. I'm not loving it. In your shooting phase, after this model's shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of the attacks made by this model's wyvern, quad, storm shard, mortar. Until the end of your next shooting phase, that enemy unit is suppressed. While suppressed, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Yes. Okay, I'll take one of those. I think that's a good choice. That'll be something fun to play with. Alright, what else is in my box of goodies there? I have a basilisk. I don't think a basilisk is really going to hit the mark, though. What do you think? I think 140 points for a basilisk. I don't know. I think I'd rather try to stuff in another Lehman Russ. And then I could kind of add in other stuff. Yeah, the hard part is they really kind of put that Earthshaker down to strength 8. I think it kind of hurts it. What's its ability? The ability of that is in your shooting phase after this model has shot, if one or more of those attacks is made with the Earthshaker cannon, scored a hit against the enemy infantry. Until the start of your next shooting phase, that unit is shaken. While it's shaken, subtract -2 from its move characteristic and 2 from the charge rolls. Not shabby, but I don't know that I love it. I think that might be an add-on unit. What else do we have in here that I can field? So let's do a recap. So we got an armored sentinel. We got a normal Lehman Russ. Do I want to go heavy? Because I could do a demolisher, or I can go the other way and do like a Punisher. I could even do the ones with the auto guns. That one's not bad either. The Eradicator is the pot. No, that's the Nova Cannon. That one just doesn't have the schwupp that I'm looking for. The Exterminator, I think, is the autocannons, and that gives you... Yeah, that's the one that improves the armor penetration characteristic of attacks. Its ability is Withering Hail. Now it's got autocannons, 4 autocannon shots, strength 9, minus 1 AP, 3 damage, which is not fantastic, but it does have a 48-inch range with rapid fire 4. So if you get within 24 inches, which isn't hard to do on a typical table, it gets 4 extra shots. So that would be 8 shots that hits on a 4 or better. Strength 9, minus 1 with 3 damage each. Oh, and I forgot to mention that it's twin linked. And in this, with its ability, in your shooting phase after the model has shot, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of these attacks by the autocannon. Till the end of the phase, each time a friendly Astra Militarum makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, the armor penetration of that attack is you improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So, I mean, I could bump up my armor penetration just by firing the Exterminator at it. And what was that? Exterminator was 180. So it's right around the same price as the other one. Robodorn, Stormlord. Just going through my list here real quick. Also, I have that I can throw in. I own 3 Lehman Russes. They can pretty much be kitted out. I think anyway. Yeah, there's only one that's a Demolisher chassis. The other 2 can go pretty much to any weapon. 2 Chimeras, a Manticore, a Wyvern, a Basilisk, a Valkyrie, and an Armored Sentinel. I still want to put Bulgrin. I have 3 Bulgrin in my army. But are they worth it? I mean, they'd probably be a good defense. Bulgrin are 100 points. And they get -1 to the damage characteristic with... But... Each song, wow, is it? Oh, the slab shield gives them wounds of 4. They feel no pain. Blast with the grenades. Let me see. Let me try adding that. The Bulgrin squad. All mine have the... What do I got? I got 1 maul and 2 of the gauntlets. So I got a maul. And which one's it? It's a brute shield. Gives you the invulnerable save. The slab shield gives you 4 wounds. I don't remember which one's which. I think I got slab shields. Yeah. And then 2 with the grenades with slab shields. So that wouldn't give them an invulnerable save, but it does give them four wounds each. That's 12 wounds. They have a 3-up save, 6 toughness. Not incredibly tough. I guess it's the feel no pain and the -1 damage that really carries them. I think I'm going to leave them home. I'm just not feeling it right now. We can always add them later. All right. So where are we at? 730 points. Let me just do a quick once over again. For anybody that's trying to keep up at home, we have a Castellan with a command squad, and then shock troopers. 3 squads of shock troopers of 10 man each. Armored sentinel. We have the Lehman Russ battle tank and a wyvern. And that puts us at about 730 points. So I think, just to have a good standard, I think we're just going to add, should we add a demolisher in? So Lehman Russ, that's the most expensive one. But strength 14, making hex demolish again. This engagement range. Where do I want to do the Punisher? Oh, see, this is where I always run into problems. I just have too many ideas. I actually have the bits for the Eradicator. Let me see. I have some extra squads and extra bits in here. So I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I can just make the Eradicator, and then I don't actually have the bits for it. Sorry for the crunchy noises. There's a Punisher, there's a Demolisher. I might not have the autocannon, because I think at 7th edition, the autocannon one was just not that great. Let me check my other box here. I have little bits boxes inside my other box here. I mean, I have other autocannon bits. I could probably make one. All right, so let's get to solve that. So I don't have the availability for that one right now. So that's it for that. All right, so can't play with a tank that I don't have. But so I've got a Punisher here. I've got standard Lehman Russ. I've got a Demolisher right here. And I kept all the turrets off, so I have all the bits to go into the turrets. So I essentially right now, the way I have mine set up at the moment, I have a Punisher, the Punisher Gatling cannon. I have a Demolisher with the short cannon. Whoops, I guess in this frame, not out of frame. Okay, and then I have a standard battle cannon. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's add the... I always want to go super heavy with the guard, and I don't think this is the way to win it. So let's go with... let's... Demolisher. Okay. So that puts us at... That puts us at 920. Yeah, that should be good. So basically, it's kind of a tiny force, but I am putting some tanks up. You're quite welcome. So 3 Cadian shock troop squads. The commanders right now are 2 Castellans and a command squad. And then we have an armored sentinel for some mobility, Lehman Rust battle tank, a Lehman Rust demolisher, which I think we'll just kit up for the 9s. We'll do multi-meltas and maybe a heavy flamer in the nose gun, the belly gun, just for some little bit of damage. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't really played my Imperial Guard, my Astra Militarum, since about 7th edition. So back then it was a lot of Valkyries and flying. But I appreciate you checking in. So yeah, where was I? I'm at 920 points right now. 2 Castellans, 1 for each Cadian shock troops, a Cadian command squad. Then I have 3 10-man Cadian squads. I think those will be my objective hunters, grabbers, stuff like that. Yeah, I was just thinking maybe the heavy weapons squad would work, because I have autocannons and missile launchers. Yes. Yeah, I have autocannons and missile launchers. I did have a bunch of stuff set up for mortars and grenade launchers, because again, that was kind of more meta for 7th edition. So then I had an armor sentinel, a regular Lehman Rust battle tank, a Lehman Rust demolisher, and then a wyvern. And that leaves me at 920. How much are heavy weapon squads? So 65 points each. So we can do that. What's the rule for? Yeah, autocannon weapon teams. I think that might be the better choice. I mean, I can sub in at some point las cannons or heavy bolters, but I'd have to paint them, because I just did the weapons separate so I can plug them in. Alright, so we're going to go with autocannons. Oops. That's 0. Okay. Alright. The autocannons on them are 2-shot. Hits on a 5 or better. Strength 9. -1, 3 damage. And of course they're heavy. So that would work. That'll give me a little bit more punch for that. And they have, let's see, they have covering fire. So each time a target in this unit with the fire overwatch stratagem, while resolving that stratagem, hits are scored on an unmodified hit roll of 5 or better, or an unmodified 4 or better instead if this unit is within 6 inches or more of a friendly platoon squad. Ah, look at that. I get the allure of heavy bolters. Heavy bolters are about the same. They're the same shots though, right? 2 shots. Heavy bolters are... No, they're 3 shots. Okay. So that wouldn't be so bad, but I think I'm going to stick with the autocannons because that's what I have. Actually, added 2 of them by accident. I messed something up here. Alright. Just to go through again, Castellan, Command Squad. 10 Cadian Shock Troopers, 3 sets of those with different special weapons. A 3-man heavy weapon squad with... Oh, I deleted the wrong one. find it. So I've been floating. Let me throw this up here real quick, just so I can read it. So he says, I'm floating around a few lists on my phone trying to find a playstyle I like and such. Right now I'm really digging some of the psychic bugs a lot. Gotta head to bed. Good luck for future games. Hey, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate your help. Hope you get some good games in with those Tyranids. They're a lot of fun to play with. So yeah, I think we're gonna stick with. Oh yeah, I gotta change this. So somehow I get switched from heavy bolters to autocannons. Okay. Yeah, I want to check one more thing in there. There was a thing for a leader for them. So you can add leaders to them as well. Interesting. I don't know that I'm going to have points to do that because it looks like I'm at 985. So I think that's where I'm going to end up. The question is, do I really love the Wyvern that much? That's the real one that I'm kind of sticking on. I do like the stun ability that it has. The suppression bombardment for a -1 to hit, so I could probably shut down, or at least partially shut down some units if I did that. So I think that's a good idea. I think that's what I'm going to stick with. It should give me a nice play style to keep going. And then, of course, as the crusade goes on, I can add more units. It's easy to just add another Lehman Russ or some chimeras to run as transports. Obviously, I'll have to switch some squads around at that point, but because I think, let me see, the chimera. The nice thing about the chimera is it's a mobile command vehicle, so you can issue orders from within it, which gives you a slightly bigger range. Doesn't so you can transport 12 models, so then you could put a Keating command squad with a Castellan and maybe another character in there. All right. Sounds like it should work. And make sure everything's right here. So again, one more time, sorry for keep repeating it, but I'm kind of making sure I think it all through here. I have a Cadian Castellan. I have another Cadian Castellan. And each one of those will go with one of the command squad or one of the Cadian shock troops. And then add the Cadian command squad. And I think I can either put that in with one of the Castellans and a command squad, or I can put it at the third Cadian shock troop. So with that being said, I do have 3 Cadian shock troop squads, 10-man. The 3-man Cadian heavy weapon squad, an armored sentinel with a autocannon, because that's what mine has. Lehman Russ battle tank with the regular battle cannon, and then the las cannon with 2 heavy bolters, just for divergence of fire, and then throw a demolisher in there. And I think, because that one's going to get up, I'm going to put a heavy flamer in the nose of that one, and multi-meltas in the sponsons. That should be able to, hopefully that'll scare some people away. And then the last thing would be the Wyvern for that suppressive fire. And that puts me at about 985. And I don't think, when it comes to that, oh wait, actually, close that out. think I'll just stick in the combined arms detachment. Which gives everything that's regiment. That's basically the Cadian one, which gives everything from the regiment. Bonuses to hit infantry. Gives them lethal hits, to hit infantry. And then anything with the squadron, which is pretty much all the vehicles that I have, get lethal hits against monsters and vehicles. So whichever way that goes. I think that would be the best way to start. And then leaders. So then if I go into characters, let's see, at 985, is there anything worth floating on a Castellan? First war gear. Oops. Wait, I don't think I have that in here. Oh, wait, there's the enhancements. So actually, I have two choices for 15 points. Officer model only. Each time an enemy unit is set up within 9 inches of the bearer, this bearer can issue one order. This is not counted toward the number of orders the bearer can issue each battle round. So that's situational, but it certainly could work. The other one is the bearer can issue one additional order. I think that would work. The Grand Strategist, that one wouldn't be bad either. Last one that I could do, there's Drill Commander, which is 20 points, which I don't have enough for. While this bearer is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, if it remains stationary, a critical hit is scored. Oh, that's really nice. Critical hits are scored on an unmodified hit roll of 5. Wow, that would actually be good. Where do I drag out 5 points from this army, though, so I can put that on one of my commanders? And then the Death Mask. While the bearer's unit is battle shocked, subtract 1 from the OC characteristic of that model instead of changing it to 0. Not that impressive, but not that bad. I think I'll actually just add to my one that's the Warlord. Oh, I picked the wrong one. All right, let's go to this guy. Yeah, he's the Warlord. Let's give him the Grand Strategist. Actually, let's just switch that out. So I want the guy with the Power Fist to be the Beat Stick guy. He's got a power weapon. He's going to be the Warlord. He's going to get Grand Strategist. And that will be 1,000 points. Great. So we should be playing this weekend the first game. So if you want to see if and when I play this weekend, if it works out, we should be doing that on Lake Clan Legends. That's my other podcast YouTube channel, where we play D&D, and we've been playing some Warhammer. The boys, it's me and my sons, and they want to do a crusade, so we're going to write up a little story. We'll give you a little preview, and then whatever we get into as the first fight lays out. We're doing all our armies kind of secret. We know the factions, but not what anybody's playing until we play the first match. And I think that'll be fun, a fun way to get them to plan for an all-comers list instead of whoever they're fighting each match. So that being said, that should be on Sunday, or it will be in their lives and probably transferred into one of the playlists, a new playlist on their channel. And of course, next week I'll give you notes as to what happened. So anybody that did stop in to help or chat a little bit or just check out what I'm talking about, I appreciate the help. I have 2 days, so if anybody leaves a comment, I can see it and maybe make a change to my army list if you got a good idea or something that I can work with. I do have a fairly limited amount of guardsmen, so I really have nothing from that came out in 10th edition. So unfortunately, I don't have any of the Death Corps Krieg. I do have some military Tempestus, but only like 10-man squad, I think. It's not a lot. Maybe I have 15 of them. I have some Bullgrins, a lot of. I planned a very mechanized force when I was playing it, so I have Chimeras, I have Lemuruses, I have the Basilisks, the Wyverns. The Wyvern can also be switched out for a Hydra, and then I have a Manticore, the one with the missiles. So if there's anything that you're thinking of, some of the armaments or something like that, leave a comment. I'd appreciate it. And I try to respond to every comment that gets dropped on here. And other than that, I'm going to rate this up and see where it goes. And I'll let you know next week. So I'm Todd from Table Ready Games. We're here to help you and your models become table ready. And we thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time.